Picture this. The house is completely quiet. You lie down to sleep, and then it starts. A burning sensation in your feet. Not mild, not something you can ignore. You throw off the covers, you move, you adjust. Nothing works. Then comes the tingling, like tiny needles under your skin. And just like that, you're wide awake. Again. Now here's what most people do in that moment. They tell themselves, it's just age. It'll go away. It's nothing serious. But what if I told you that feeling is not random? In many cases, it's your nerves sending out a warning signal. Not later, not someday, but right now. And here's the part that surprises most people. This isn't always caused by diabetes, and it's not something you should accept as normal aging. Because right now, millions of people are silently dealing with this exact problem. In fact, more than 20 million people in the United States are living with nerve damage, and a large number of them don't even know what's causing it. They treat the symptoms, they ignore the signals, and slowly, things get worse. Now let me show you something most people were never told. Think of your nerves like electrical wires inside your body. These wires carry signals from your brain down to your feet, telling you what to feel, how to move, how to respond. But every wire needs protection. In your body, that protection is like insulation. And when that insulation begins to weaken, everything starts to change. Signals slow down. Some disappear completely. Others become distorted. And that's when you begin to feel things that don't make sense. Burning, tingling, numbness, sharp electric-like discomfort. That's not just discomfort. That's dysfunction. And here's where it gets serious. Because this process doesn't usually happen overnight. It builds quietly. At first, you barely notice it. A little tingling here, a little numbness there. Easy to ignore. Until one day, it's not easy to ignore anymore. Now most people assume this is just part of getting older. But that's not entirely true. Because in many cases, there's a missing piece. Something your body depends on every single day to protect those nerves and keep them functioning properly. A vitamin. And when your levels begin to drop, your nerves are often the first place it shows up. But here's what makes this dangerous. This deficiency doesn't hit all at once. It builds slowly, quietly. You may feel fine for years, while your body is gradually running low, until the symptoms finally begin. And by then, your nerves have already been under stress for a long time. Now, let's take a closer look at what's actually happening inside your body. Remember how I said your nerves are like electrical wires? Let's make that even clearer. Imagine you have a wire running through your house. If that wire is strong and properly insulated, electricity flows smoothly. Everything works. But if that insulation starts to wear out, things begin to go wrong. Lights flicker, signals get interrupted. Sometimes you even get sparks. That's exactly what happens inside your body. Each of your nerves is protected by a layer called the myelin sheath. Think of it as the protective coating that keeps your nerve signals stable and efficient. Now here's the problem. When that protective layer begins to weaken, your nerve signals don't travel properly anymore. Some signals become weak. That's when you feel numbness. Others become confused. That's when you feel tingling. And sometimes, those signals become overactive, sending pain signals when nothing is actually wrong. That's when you feel burning. Not because something is touching your skin, but because your nerves are misfiring. Now here's something very important most people miss. This damage usually starts at the farthest point from your brain, which is why your feet are often the first place you notice it. Now here's where everything begins to connect. Because that protective layer around your nerves doesn't maintain itself automatically. Your body needs specific nutrients to repair and protect it every single day. And one of the most important of these is a vitamin called vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 plays a critical role in protecting your nerves, repairing the myelin sheath, supporting proper signal transmission. Without enough B12, your nerve protection begins to weaken, and over time, that's when symptoms begin to appear. Now, here's what makes this even more important. You don't have to be severely deficient to start feeling the effects. Even a gradual drop over time can begin to affect how your nerves function. And this is especially common in people over 60, because as we age, our ability to absorb vitamin B12 naturally decreases. So even if you're eating well, your body may not be getting what it needs. And here's the part most people never see coming. Sometimes it's not just your diet, it's your daily routine, your medications, your digestion, all quietly working together to reduce your B12 levels. Let me show you how this happens. If you're taking certain medications, especially for blood sugar or acid reflux, they can interfere with how your body absorbs B12. Over time, your levels slowly drop without any obvious warning. Add to that natural aging, reduced stomach acid, and sometimes dietary changes, and you have the perfect setup for your body to fall short on a vitamin your nerves depend on every day. Now here's where it becomes serious. Because when your body doesn't get enough B12, two things start happening at the same time. First, your nerves lose their protective support. They lose the ability to repair themselves properly. So instead of recovering, they slowly weaken. And this is why those symptoms don't just stay the same. They often get worse. The tingling becomes more frequent, the numbness spreads, the burning becomes harder to ignore. And here's the part I want you to really pay attention to. Your body doesn't send these signals randomly. Those sensations are your body's early warning system. They are telling you something needs attention, not later, now. Let's talk about the signs your body may already be giving you. Because in most cases, this doesn't just appear overnight. If you know what to look for, you can catch it early. One of the first signs is tingling. Not painful at first, just unusual. You may notice it when you lie down or when you've been sitting for a while. Then comes numbness. Your feet may feel slightly disconnected, like they're there, but not fully responsive. Some people describe it as walking on a soft surface, even when the ground is hard. And then the burning sensation begins, sometimes mild, sometimes intense, often worse at night when everything else becomes quiet. Now here's something many people don't expect. You may also notice changes in your balance. You feel slightly unsteady, especially in the dark, or when walking on uneven ground. And that happens because your nerves help your body understand position and movement. When those signals weaken, your stability can be affected. Now I want you to pause for a moment and think. Have you noticed any of these signs, even occasionally? Because that's your body trying to get your attention. Now, let's talk about what you can actually do, because this is where many people feel stuck. They notice the symptoms, but they don't know where to start. If vitamin B12 is playing a role, then supporting your levels becomes important. And this doesn't have to be complicated. First, your diet. Vitamin B12 is found naturally in foods like eggs, fish, meat, dairy. Including these regularly can help maintain healthy levels over time. Second, supplementation. For many people over 60, this becomes especially important. Because even with a good diet, absorption may not be as efficient as it used to be. And here's a simple way to think about it. If your body isn't absorbing enough, it may need additional support. Third, pay attention to underlying factors. If you're taking medications or dealing with digestive issues, these can affect how your body processes B12. So it's worth discussing with a healthcare professional, because sometimes the issue isn't what you're eating. It's what your body is actually absorbing. Now I want to say something very important. This is not about fear. It's about awareness, because your body is incredibly capable of maintaining and repairing itself when it has the right support. But timing matters. The earlier you respond, the better your chances of protecting your nerves. Because once nerve damage becomes severe, it can be much harder to reverse. Now, before we wrap up, there's one more thing you need to understand. Not all nerve symptoms are caused by vitamin B12 deficiency. There can be other factors involved, including diabetes and circulation issues. So if your symptoms are persistent or getting worse, it's always important to get properly evaluated. But for many people, this simple insight becomes a turning point, because instead of guessing, you begin to understand what your body is telling you. And once you understand, you can take the right steps forward. Now I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever experienced that burning or tingling feeling in your feet? Comment below and let me know. And if this helped you understand your body better, make sure you share it with someone you love and subscribe, because I share simple, practical insights like this to help you stay strong, active, and informed as you age. In the next video, I'm going to expose a group of common foods that may be acting like slow poison to your nerves, and most people are eating them every single day. So make sure you don't miss that. See you in the next video.